Because let me tell you, sometimes a man with a real job may get a little busy. And he may get to you when he can. But when he does, you are never going to feel displaced with him. You're never going to wonder where you stand with him, because he's going to let you know. Hello, if you're new here, my name is Keshante Chantel and welcome to my channel. So guys, I just wanted to talk about some real life situations that are just happening every day, and I want to get up and close with my supporters and just talk about real life stuff. So I wanted to talk about relationships, kind of knowing if he's the one or if he really likes you, because nothing is worse than wasting time on somebody and in the end just finding out that person just really didn't like you. And of course I'll go first because I'm initiating the talk. I was in a situationship for about 11 years, and 11 years is a very long time, but it wasn't 11 years consistent that I was kind of with this person. Like I said, it was a situationship, so it was off and on. And it was just, it started off, the guy was of course younger than me, because if you don't know, I do tend to gravitate towards younger guys. Not any particular reason, you know, it's just guys that I happen to talk to just happen to be a little bit younger. You know, I could talk to somebody my age, but it's just, you know, I'm not really in the whole dating pool right now. I've taken myself out for a little bit, but I wouldn't mind talking to a guy my age. It's just, I feel like there are certain things that I'm looking for, and we'll get into that later. But like I said, the guy that I was in a situationship with for a very long time, it started off fun. It started off really good. We actually used to work together and it was what it was. It was fun. And I really did like him. I started to develop feelings for him, but it was just like, looking back on that situation, he really just didn't like me. It was just kind of one of these things when you are talking to somebody who's younger. He was a mama's boy, and so with that being said, she didn't like me because she didn't feel like older women should be with younger guys. Because I had my own place, my own car, taking care of myself, I didn't really care about her opinion or what she had to say. Ultimately, she played a part in why he and I never ended up together, because she made him the man of the house. So it was just like, she depended on him a little bit too much, and because I was on the outside looking in, I could just see where she just needed to get her own man and live her life and stop trying to make him the man of the house. And when something goes wrong, oh, you got to do this and you got to do that. He felt a responsibility that I just felt like he shouldn't have had to take on. But again, he was living under her roof, so it wasn't like I had a big say-so. And anytime I did have an influence, it just really made it worse. So, you know, things that kind of how I figured out in the present day today, because when you're in something and you're going through it, everybody has like an opinion on your life, but you just want that person just to get their shit together because you just see something in them. And a lot of times, not always, but a lot of times, people on the outside looking in, they see a lot of stuff that you don't see. And you know, I had friends who was just like, oh, you need to leave him alone and blah blah blah. And I just was like, what do you know? You aren't with me. You don't know when I'm tired, I stay up on the phone and I talk to him, and he just, you know, pours into me. And So I used to have friends all the time that would tell me, Sean, you need to leave him alone because he's not doing anything for you. And it was true. Like, he was still living with his mom and he had no intention of moving out. And we was like back and forth, make up to break up, make up to break up. And when we would get together and we would hang out, things would be fine. But ultimately, it would take one small thing for him to catch an attitude. And then next thing you know, he wanted to go home and be in his own space. And then, like, I always found myself apologizing for his behavior. And I just wanted to be back on good terms. And now, granted, I was always the type who liked to work, and I really didn't make a lot of time for dates or things like that. But it was always because I guess I kind of wanted him to like initiate, let's go on a date. But you know, there was a point where when we did go on a date, I found myself paying because I knew places that I wanted to eat at that was really nice. I didn't know if he was gonna have the money, and I was just like, I got it. All the time when we was going out to eat, I got it. But you know, whenever we would get into an argument, make no mistake, I would bring it up. Like, I wouldn't necessarily say that he was using me, and I wouldn't tell him that, and I didn't necessarily feel that. I just felt like because of his circumstance, he couldn't do XYZ, but I still wanted to go out and go to dinner or go to a movie, so I just would foot the bill. And like I said, I'm not gonna make excuses because it is what it is. He didn't like me. Because if he did, I wouldn't have had to ask. Like, any man that really cares about you, you are never going to have to ask. He's going to just automatically do. And this went on for like years. And there would be times where like he would get mad at me because one thing that I knew how to do, I knew how to disconnect. And I think that is a character trait that I don't necessarily like about myself, is because when I do disconnect from somebody, like, I get gone. My sign, I'm a Scorpio. So like, when I love you, I love you. But when I don't fuck with you no more, don't even worry about it, baby. We good over here. And he used to hate that, like, if he pulled the card of, oh, I'm gonna break up with you, I don't want to talk to you anymore, I just wouldn't chase after him. I would just get ghost and keep it moving. But somehow we would eventually find our way back to each other. And we used to always say like we're soulmates, but it was just right person at the wrong time. And you know, later on in life, we was able to like have these conversations because of course, you know, we would stop talking for like 4 years and then find our way back to each other. And I think the last time was the last time. And trust me, when you know, you will know when it's the last time. Because I didn't love him anymore. Like, I didn't care for him in a way that I once was. When we would be intimate with each other, I just wasn't into it. Like, it wasn't the same. And like, instead of apologizing for his behavior, I would just be like, you could go home. Like, I don't put up with your bullshit. Not me. So it got to the point where like I just knew that it was never gonna be all the wishing and hoping. It was never gonna change who he was, because I had made him comfortable in the beginning. Instead of setting standards for myself and boundaries in the relationship, I allowed him to feel comfortable, and I made excuses for his behavior instead of holding him accountable. And so it's kind of like trying to discipline a child when they're 11 years old. You've let this go on for so long, their behavior, it's hard to break. And do you want to put the time and effort into correcting it, or do you just want to move on and maybe find somebody else that's healed? Because, like, you know, he had a lot of childhood trauma, and so did I, but I always felt the need to try to fix him. And I think that was the problem. Like, especially as Black women, we do try to heal our partners. And, you know, he would tell me, in a sense, because like I said, I met him when he was very young, I was very young, and he would tell me he felt like I raised him. But what I think I did, and I am 7 years older than him, but I think what I did was made him the perfect man for the next woman. And as much as that irritates me and I just want to punch him in the face, that's kind of the cycle of life. And so, you know, sometimes you just have to realize the signs. In the beginning, if a guy is not putting in the effort to, one, text you back, because let's keep it real, we live in a digital world. So everybody, and I do mean everybody, has their phone on them the majority of time. You're either checking your email, checking your text messages, on social media. And I feel like if you are texting somebody and they're taking forever to respond to you, chances are you're not a priority. I mean, if they do this day in and day out, because let me tell you, sometimes a man with a real job may get a little busy, and he may get to you when he can. But when he does, you are never going to feel displaced with him. You're never going to wonder where you stand with him, because he's going to let you know. But if you have a guy that goes hours and hours without texting you, and then when they do text you, the conversation is dry, chances are he does not like you. If you have a situation where a guy is always asking you to hang out after 10, you might be a booty call. And if he always wants to hang out with you in the house and never in public, rethink that situation, because I am a very introverted person and I love being at home. I'm at home all the time. But if it gets to a point where you can't go on proper dates, you always have to be in the house, absolutely not. And, you know, if these are things that you want out of a relationship, do not settle just because you like somebody, because chances are you don't want to be in a one-sided situation. And even though I knew that my ex loved me, because I mean, of course, like, I can't cover the whole entire 11 years that we talked in a 10-15 minute video, and I do know that he loved me, and you know, we went through a lot of situations together, but he ultimately didn't like me. There's a difference. You can be with somebody and they love you, but liking you is totally different. Caring for you is totally different. I see a lot of relationships online, and I'm just like, I'll see guys that, like, they just go out of their way to do some of the most romantic, beautiful things. And I'm like, girl, where did you find that man? But what I have learned with relationships and men is the man does have to like you more in order for it to work. Because men are natural chasers. They are alphas. They love the hunt. And I think my problem is I'm an alpha, I'm a Scorpio, I'm an alpha. I've been single for a long time. I know what I want, and I've always loved the chase. And the problem with me and men is, because I like the chase, once I get what I want, I don't want it anymore. And my mom used to always say that I was gonna be her child, that was gonna be the runaway bride. Like, I would get to the altar and I would have tennis shoes or boots on, ready to run. And to some extent, it was true, but I think right now where I'm in it, right now where I'm at in life is I do want something a little bit, I want something, and I know what I want, but it's just like, nowadays, the dating pool is very scary, because either you have like STDs on the rise, or you have men that want to be wifed too. That is a horror movie in itself, because baby, I ain't wifing no man. And you know, I said in one of my vlogs that, you know, I grew up in the era where my grandmother didn't pay bills, my great grandmother didn't pay bills, my mom didn't pay bills in the house. They let the man be the man. And you know, I don't care about anybody's situation. Like, I don't have an opinion on what somebody else does in their household, because I feel like you do what works for you. But me personally, I would not get with a man and feel comfortable going 50-50 on anything, because I already do everything by myself. So you and me splitting the rent is not making my life more comfortable. It's basically, I have a roommate. So I feel like, again, going back to men being alphas and they're natural providers, they're going to want to take care of you. They're not going to want to take you through any struggle, or, you know, but every man is different. And like I said, I don't judge. Your situation is your situation, but that is not what I intend to do. So that's not what I'm looking for. And until I can find that, I am very comfortable being single. I don't want to be, but I'm comfortable. My goal is to find someone who likes me, find someone who, you know, is healed, because nothing is worse than getting with an unhealed man who just doesn't know what he wants, not working towards his goals, and is comfortable being where he's at, and he's been in that same place for at least 5 years. There's nothing worse than that. So I see a lot of relationships online, and I'm just like, I wouldn't put up with those things. It took me a while to get to this place of intolerance, because there were sometimes I was just willing to make excuses out of the fact that I cared for someone very deeply. It was just, oh, well, he's only doing this because he's going through XYZ, or he's only doing this because he went through a very traumatic experience in life. And granted, we're all going through it. Like I said, we're all living life for the first time. But with relationships and love, because you are very valuable, your heart is very valuable, I just wouldn't settle, because time is something that you cannot get back. And 11 years is a very long time. And I think about the 11 years that I could have given to someone else who really liked me. So if you are going through a situation that's very similar, where you have somebody that is, expecting you to pay for all the dates, or not even putting in the effort to arrange a date and take you out. Somebody that's only calling you after 10 p.m. because they want you to come to their house. That he doesn't like you. He wants something from you, but it's definitely not a relationship. So I mean, if you have had any similar experiences that you have gone through where you just found out, not just found out, but you found out just ultimately that person just didn't care for you in a way that you deserved, definitely leave me your comment in the comment section below. Tell me your experiences, because I want to know. I'm ready to be more open and share things that I've gone through. And yeah, we can just talk about it. So guys, that is the end of my video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, join my beautiful online family. Stay beautiful, stay healthy and happy, know your worth, and trust me, it will all work out. I hope that you, if you are searching or looking for love actively, that you find somebody that loves, appreciates, and values you. And you know, I'm looking for the same, but we'll get there eventually. So yeah, I will see you guys in my next video. It's been nice chatting with you. I'll talk to you later. Bye.